evaluate the Jets roster today. We're going to be talking about the offensive line. We're going to talk about the Carson Wentz trade, which was, it's pretty big. Colts got themselves a quarterback. We're going to talk about it all. So, again, if you want to call in, 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639. Call in. You know what I'm saying? 1 second, folks. I want to share this, make sure everybody, knows that the show's going on and that everything's going smoothly. Again, I hope everyone's having a good day today. You know what I'm saying? A lot of crazy stuff. I hope everyone's safe out there. Please be safe. Again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. You can call in. The lines are open right now. Everybody to be like, Joe, how can I get on the show early? If you call in right now, you get in early. The lines are open. We already got some callers as well. Oh, we got some guys. Macau, salute to you. Macau Edwards says, let's go. What's going on, my man? Good to see you in here. Prestige Shogun, salute to you. Good to see you in here as well. Prestige says, Justin Fields. Okay, talk that talk. Aaron Volley, salute to you as well. Ryan, salute to you. Good to see y'all in here. The Machine, salute to you. You know what I'm saying? Joe, Shogun says, Joe, who would you take a number one overall if you had the pick for the Jets? Ooh, I tell you, I would trade down, to be completely honest. I would trade down, but if you forcing me to take somebody, man, that's tough. That's really tough. I would trade down, man. But if you're forcing me to take somebody, like if I have to take somebody, if I'm forced, ooh, man, I don't know. The tackle, so well, man. That guy, people talk about him being a generational tackle. I think it's unbelievable. He's unbelievable, to be completely honest. I'm going to connect the show in just a second, folks. Let me make sure that I share this up so that everybody knows that I'm here. Again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Call in, folks. The lines are open, okay? We about to connect the show in just a second. Aaron Volley says, Joe, who do you think would be the quarterback next year? I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I think it's going to be Sam Darnold, to be completely honest. I really do. But we're going to talk about that because we got Deshaun Watson rumors springing up again. So give me 1 second, folks. We're going to connect the show and then we're going to get it going. Again, 515-602-9639. Please call in if you'd like to talk football with me, man. What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe. We back at it again, okay? Listen, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of things going on in the NFL. A lot of moves have been made. We got to talk about this Jets offensive line. We're going to do some evaluations there, and I want to know your thoughts about some of these, things that I have going on. Also, free agents that the Jets are going to possibly target as well at the offensive line. I want to hear everybody's take. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. So without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and get into the show. I am fired up. I'm fired up. I could not wait to start talking football with everyone. Listen, as well, I'm on iTunes as well. Please go to my iTunes. It's The Long Beach Joe Show. Go over there, subscribe to my content on there. This will be put out as a podcast as well. So please give me a rating too, if you could. Also, my YouTube page, if you want to watch me live, for those of you that are on Blog Talk, I also live stream during my radio show. So if you want to check out the live stream and just, watch my beautiful face, I'm saying? I'm a handsome dude. That's what people tell me, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm all right. I look all right. You know what I mean? So, if you want to catch my show and watch my live streams, please go to Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up for your notifications. And you know what I'm saying? Please subscribe and check out all my content. I go live and I want to be able to talk to people, when I go live and just have discourse back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, please check all those things out. And again, follow me across my YouTube pages too. So now we're going ahead and we're going to get right into it. Listen, there was a move made. Okay. The Eagles trade Carson Wentz to the Colts for a 3rd round pick in 2021 and a conditional 2nd round pick in 2022. Now, we're starting there because there's a lot of people that want to get rid of Sam Darnold. Okay, I hear everyone's arguments. I respect Jets fans across the board, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with my point. Regardless of whether you want to keep Sam, you want to move on from him. If you can give me a solid argument, we can go back and forth and have discussion. I understand why some would want to get rid of him. Things did not necessarily turn out the way that, some would have hoped last year. And a lot of people blame a lot of those things on him. Okay. Now, if you look at this situation where Carson Wentz, who's a guy, that's pretty much a year removed from being one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You know what I mean? Last year, he didn't have a great year, but before that, this guy, outside of the little injuries that he had here and there, everyone was saying, hey, Carson Wentz, this guy looks amazing. He's done more than Sam Darnold has done. If you look at, his achievements in the league. And they only got a 3rd rounder for him in a conditional 2nd. So everyone that was running around kind of saying that, hey, we think we can get a 1st round pick for Sam Darnold. Sam is worth this. Sam is worth that. Starts to make you wonder, what exactly is his worth now? If you want to move on from Sam Darnold, I don't know if you're getting that 1st rounder that you thought you were going to get, dog. I don't know if you're getting that. Because we've seen other quarterbacks, hell, you look at what Matthew Stafford was traded for. When you have a guy that hasn't done nearly as much as some of these other guys that are getting traded, and they're getting traded for a compensation that is like, again, Carson Wentz, a 3rd round, a 2nd round. I don't know if you getting a 1st rounder for that. The Colts made a solid move, though. Salute to them. They got themselves a quarterback, Frank Wright, as a guy that has that chemistry as well. He's had it in the past with Carson Wentz. They've been able to do some things. I think he threw like 33 touchdowns, which is the Eagles' franchise record. So they have some history there. But let me tell you something. The impact it could have on Sam and his trade value is there. As well, when you start to look about as, some of the teams you wanted to trade Sam to, Colts, constantly. People were saying, hey, let's just send him to the Colts. Let's send him there. They need a quarterback. The Colts will be interested. Well, that door is closed now. Now where do you send him? What kind of compensation do you get back now? You got to wonder about that stuff. It also has ramifications as well on our 2nd pick. Because all these teams that we thought would be quarterback hungry, some of them have solved those issues. The Lions, people were talking about, hey, let's give them the 2nd pick. They're hungry. They're looking to move on. Stafford's out the door. He's going to be gone. That door is shut on Stafford. They're going to get rid of him. We can give them the 2nd pick, and then they can move up and get Justin Fields. Whoa. They just went and got Jared Goff. To me, it seems like they're extremely confident in that kid, and it seems like they really want to move on with him. So if they're going to do that, then, I don't think they'll give you as much as you think to move up for Justin Fields. There's no need for it. Now, again, you look at the Colts situation. They've traded. They've got a quarterback that they want. Now that, you start to look, okay, where are you moving to now? If you're going to trade down off that 2nd pick. Carolina, they're still in the hunt. There's a lot of rumors they're aggressively going to go after Deshaun Watson. If they end up with him, then what do you do? So there's a lot of questions, and we're going to be talking about that tonight. Also going to be talking about this Jets offensive line, man. Listen, this Jets O-line needs work. Oh my goodness, it needs work, man. It needs crazy work. Goodness gracious. Ooh, at times, this O-line was terrible. Terrible. Oh my goodness, man. There was issues galore. All right. Mekhi Becton, one of the bright, shining stars of the season, one of the better players that we have on our offensive side of the ball. That dude is amazing. Amazing this year. Should have been a Pro Bowler, got snubbed. I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to go in. I could go in. I could just start talking crazy, okay? I could just start talking crazy about how he got snubbed out of the Pro Bowl, but I'm trying to be nice. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be nice. Y'all slept on him. You slept on him. That's all I'm saying. They were sleeping on Mekhi. That's all I'm saying. But when you look at the rest of the line, there was a lot of struggles. Alex Lewis, he struggled. He also dealt with a bit of injuries here and there as well. Connor McGovern, we saw him. There was a lot of people wondering, did we make the right signing? Is this a guy that we should have brought in free agency? Because things did not look good. All right. Then you look at that other side as well. Van Roten, not the greatest. There was issues up front with him constantly. He was getting beat. Questions about George Fant as well. His protection coming around. And we also saw it get magnified when Mekhi Becton would go out with an injury. Whoa. That's when things would get real ugly. I'm talking super ugly. Pressure coming from left and right. Guys just couldn't protect themselves. Couldn't hold their blocks. Sam running for his life. Hell, we saw even when Sam was out, we saw Flacco running for his life as well. Big time issues.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. So we've got to find a way to shore that up this offseason. We have far too much capital. Draft-wise, we have far too much capital, in free agency as well, as far as cash on the cap, to still be dealing with these same issues next season. Shouldn't be happening. Should not be happening. So we're going to get to that. We'll talk about J.J. Watt as well. He was released. We're going to talk about it all. And I'm ready to get into it. So we're going to get to these lines. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get to these lines again. 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639. If you are listening to me on Blog Talk, again, I also live stream during my radio show. My chat, I call them the Savages. Why? Because they're savage. Pure savage. All right? Nobody is safe. Nobody. Savages. They don't care, dude. They don't care. They don't care about nothing. If you got a take that they disagree with, they're on you. It does not matter who you are. Nobody is safe out here. Not even me. Not even me. People be getting at me too. You know what I'm saying? They get after me. But, if you want to call in as well, it's 515-602-9639. Salute to all the savages in the chat. We'll be coming to you as well. I like talking to you. You drop some knowledge. Give me your thoughts about what's going on. We'll be talking to you as well. Now, again, I'm going to bring this up. If you're calling in to my show, again, the number is 515-602-9639. When you call in, you're put into a queue, okay? I can see you. If you call in and hang up and call in and hang up, you're only going to put yourself at the back of the queue. I have to repeat this because there's some people, that may not understand. If I do not know your name or your number by heart, I will call out your area code. Please know your area code. Not trying to disrespect nobody. I'm just saying, please know your area code. That's all. You know what I mean? And I'm going to come to you and we're going to have discussion. Love discourse. Love talking to every single Jets fan. Single rule on my show, do not call into my show. Do not curse when you call into my show. Call into my show and curse, I'll get you out of here. Fast. Faster than we got rid of Adam Gase. That was fast. We got rid of him so fast it was insane. So now we're going to get to the lines, all right? First guy we're going to go to is my guy Steve, man. My guy Steve calling in early. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, Steve. How are you doing today, my friend? How are you feeling?
Hey, I'm doing good, Joe. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Let's get into it, man. I want to get your thoughts on this Carson Wentz trade and how it could impact the value of Sam Darnold. What are your thoughts about it, man?
Yeah, no, listen. When the trade happened between Indianapolis and Philadelphia, listen, I knew Carson Wentz was going to be on his way out the door because, he wanted out of Philadelphia because after from when at times when Jalen Hurts was taking over. But you know what? Philadelphia chose to move on. They gave Indianapolis, Carson Wentz, and in return they got a couple of draft picks back. It was a good trade for both teams because Carson Wentz is now back with the guy who he worked with at the beginning of his career, and for Philadelphia they got additional picks back, so now it's Jalen Hurts' team in Philadelphia. But I mean, the way of how it impacts on Sam right now, the thing is, the rumors are still going around, are the Jets going to trade Sam or are they going to give him another chance? You just don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, and the thing is about, the whole thing when they were all talking about the thing with Deshaun Watson, listen, I've said this before and I say this again. I wouldn't mind getting Deshaun Watson because, listen, Deshaun Watson is a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's made it to the Pro Bowl 3 times in his 4th season. The biggest issue is about getting Deshaun Watson is how very, very, very expensive he's going to be. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I just don't know if Joe Douglas is going to get him because, to me, Joe Douglas is the type of a guy that wants to build through a draft. I just don't know if he's going to get it. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, Steve, I agree with your takes there. I look at the situation, and I've talked about it as well. I think, Deshaun clearly is going to cost you some capital. There's been a lot of rumors out there that they also want to see Quinnen Williams thrown into the deal. I know a lot of Jets fans that kind of, you look at that situation and go, they don't want to have anything to do with giving up Quinnen Williams. But we'll see what we do in that situation. But chasing Deshaun is definitely going to be out there. There's going to be other teams as well. They're going to be chasing him too. Carolina Panthers, I think, are definitely going to be in the mix. There's also been other teams named as well that could possibly be in there too to really chase Deshaun. So, I mean, you're going to have to give up some capital, and it's definitely going to be some first. I think the Texans, if they do trade Deshaun, like you said as well, they're definitely going to want quite a haul because they're going to have to rebuild everything. And I'm talking everything there. They're definitely going to have to fix things. But when you get back to Sam Darnold and you look at the situation there, go ahead.
No, it's just that no. Listen, the Houston Texans are right now the biggest mess in the NFL. Yeah. They have the biggest mess out of any franchise right now in the NFL. It's just I don't know what they're going to do because obviously their former coach, who was also their former GM, which I don't know what the Texans were smoking when they gave Bill O'Brien that job, but obviously he's out the door. But the thing is, though, this is the thing, though, that I want to ask you, Joe. Mm-hmm. If the Jets decide, you know what, we're going to trade on Sam, I want to give me your thoughts on this because a lot of Jets fans really love this guy. What is your thought on Zack Wilson?
I think that Zack Wilson's a talented guy. He's mobile. He can move around. He's got arm strength. He can make plays. I think that him, Trevor Lawrence, I really like Justin Fields the most. Because clearly Trevor Lawrence I think the Jags are going to take him number 1. But out of the two, I like Justin Fields the most. I don't understand why a lot of Jets fans have kind of turned on the idea of Justin Fields because I remember just a short time ago, Justin Fields was like the rave amongst the entire fan base. People were talking about him left and right and how they couldn't wait to, have him on the team and that, the number 2 pick, especially after he played once he had, jacked up his ribs. He played through that and was able to beat Clemson in that game. And people were just all over the place thinking, hey, this guy's going to be, the next Jet. He's going to be our quarterback. And then all of a sudden the narrative is kind of spun to where everybody's talking about Wilson. But, I like Wilson as well, but I prefer if we're going the quarterback route in free agency, in the draft, which, again, I want to continue to say that I would love to stick with Sam Darnold. That's who I'd like to stick with. But if we're going the quarterback route in the draft, then I prefer Justin Fields over Zack Wilson. But I want to get back to the Jets and this current roster, though, with you, Steve, because you look at this situation with the offensive line. There's some issues up front. But Mekhi Becton was a standout this year for us. He was phenomenal there at left tackle. But then you look at the rest of the line and there's issues. A lot of people are looking at Greg Van Roten and they're saying to themselves, the Jets should probably move on from him this year. Do you agree with that? Is that a guy you want to see cut?
He honestly wouldn't be a guy I wouldn't mind moving on from him. Another, like, is the way of how I see of how the offensive line should go.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we do let not Connor McGovern, I think if we let Greg Van Roten go, this is what I would like to see. I would like to see if the Jets would do this at the center position because, listen, McGovern can also play on the other side of the offensive line as well.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind switching McGovern over to, like, the left or the right position of the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I would love the Jets to bring in the center from the Green Bay Packers, Corey Linsley, because he is a great player. I also would love the Jets to go after the guy from New England, Joe Thuney.
Joe Thuney.
I can't say his last name right. But
Thuney.
Yeah, Thuney, because New England, from what I heard, is not going to be giving him a new contract at the during this offseason, so they're moving on from him. So honestly, yeah, because there are still some positions on the offensive line. Now, because here is the thing, though, now going back with the whole thing, you know, with the quarterback situation before we continue with talking about other things, Joe. Because this is the thing. Here is the thing about Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields has great potential to be very good in the NFL. This is the only thing I have an issue with him about, which is this. He's coming out of Ohio State. And in the past, Joe, we have not seen quarterbacks that have come into the NFL that have done very, very successful out of Ohio State. Like, Dwayne Haskins hasn't been that very good. Another quarterback, this guy who
look, Steve, I hear you, but that's not a good take. You can't say, well, because one quarterback has come out, or a couple of quarterbacks have come out of Ohio, that he cannot be successful. Because maybe some guys have struggled in the past. There's been quarterbacks that have come out. Hell, look at Carson Wentz. That guy came from North Dakota. Who was successful from North Dakota before him? Nobody. Nobody. So you can't sit there and just say, well, you know, because the guys from this college, I mean, certain guys have struggled, you know, so he's not going to. I mean, look, I hear your take, but I can't agree with that. You have to analyze the player for, you know, who they are. And Justin Fields, again, has shown that he has ability, dude. You saw what he did. The gutsy performance that he put out there in that championship game was insane. The guy played with a jacked up ribs and was going out there and throwing dimes, and there was still pressure. He didn't let up. He continued to battle. And again, that was against the number one prospect and, you know, number one prospect quarterback in all of college football, in Trevor Lawrence. And he was chucking him. And they took that game because of him, and he just thoroughly outplayed him in that football game, Steve.
Joe, here's the thing I'm just going to say right now. Mm-hmm. There have been rumors about, too, in the NFL going on this. Because, listen, no matter what happens with Jacksonville's going to be picking a quarterback, number one. And the player that they should take is Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to say this. If the Jets choose to move on from Sam, and, listen, I'm with you, too. I would love to give Sam another chance with Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur. But I'm going to say this right now. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the number one quarterback going into the draft. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say this right now. There were rumors about that some NFL analysis were saying that maybe Zack Wilson was going to go first because some teams had Zack Wilson actually going first in their mock draft over Trevor Lawrence. I mean, listen. Right now it's a rumor, and right now we're in the middle of February. We're not going to be getting to the draft until the end of April. Yeah. Honestly, Joe, anything could happen. Anything could happen with these next few weeks. But like I said before, going back to the thing with Sam, if there is really a team that wants to get a quarterback in this draft, and if the Jets are going to decide, you know what, Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, Mike LaFleur, they're going to say, you know what, I want to give Sam another chance. This is what I think we should do. Let's trade down the pick. Trading down would not be the worst idea either, because if there's a team that wants to get a quarterback, listen, Carolina's in that mix. The Falcons are in that mix because, you know, the Falcons, I think, should move on from Matt Ryan. New Orleans is another team because obviously with Drew Brees almost going to be walking out the door, he's another one. And even the Chicago Bears as well. Now, I don't know if I would feel comfortable if the Jets would want to trade something with New England to get the second pick because New England is another team that needs a quarterback. But honestly, Joe, you just don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Yeah, Steve, you talking that talk. I ain't gonna knock you. We don't necessarily know, but yeah, if you want to move on from him, there's still some teams out there. A team that you forgot as well, Pittsburgh could be in the mix too. There's a lot of rumors that they're ready to move on from Big Ben too.
Joe,
so we'll see what happens though, Steve. Go ahead. I'll let you get the final word. Go ahead.
Wilson. Yeah, the one thing now since I spoke about Justin Fields, listen, Justin Fields there are some things that do worry me a little bit about Justin Fields, but if Fields does become the quarterback, I would give him a shot and I would support him.
Yeah.
Now the thing of going back with Zack Wilson. Listen, Zack Wilson, I will say this about him. I think he's incredibly talented. I watched his highlights from BYU of what he has done, and I think he has potential to be great as well. There's one big problem about him, and this was something that I read about. He has an attitude problem, Joe. He can be very, very arrogant. And it's something that I read about him. His attitude would be something that I would get nervous about. Because the thing is, the last thing I would need is someone to come onto this team and start chaos and drama like another Jamal Adams situation. I mean, if you watch that video of Jamal Adams, oh, my God.
Listen, Steve.
My God.
Listen, Steve.
I was like, I don't know what he was doing. But the thing is with Zack Wilson is the attitude is something I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, listen, Steve. Look, I hear you. But, I think, again, that attitude, that cockiness, that comes from being determined. He's a guy that wants to fight. He's a guy that wants to prove. So, sometimes that helps guys, to be a little cocky, a little, hey, I'm going to get the job done, a guy that's assertive, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But, again, that's something that I've heard from a lot of scouts as well, too, Steve. So, we'll see how he pans out. But I got to get to the rest of these calls, Steve. There's quite a bit of callers. So
Joe,
I want you to have a good night, my man. All right?
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Before I go, one last thing. I'm sorry. I know you got to get to the other callers, but one last thing. You know what? With Coach Robert Saleh being our new coach now, maybe that is something that the Jets do need. We need someone that's a little bit antagonizing. Like, we got to have, like, that Bart Scott feeling again like we had back in the day. Yeah,
we got some guys. But you have a good night, all right, Steve?
All right, man. Good night, Joe. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one. Listen, Steve calling in. He's talking that talk. I know some people are concerned with just the overall the attitude. I don't mind a little attitude as long as it comes with production. You know what I'm saying? If you want a little attitude, I don't mind it. But I need a little production, and I also need a guy that's still able to keep the team chemistry. You can be a little cocky. You can be a little arrogant. You can feel like you're better than everybody else because, damn it, when you go on that field, honestly, it's kill or be killed, to be completely honest. You got to go out there ready to do whatever it takes to win a game. You have to go out there feeling that you are the best quarterback or, on the field. You're the best quarterback in the league when you go out there and play, even if you're not. You have to have that belief in yourself, as a, as quarterbacks in particular, as players in particular, you have to go out there and truly feel that you're the best thing in the league when you step out there on the field so you can perform at your top. You need to go out there and do your thing. So we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639. The lines are open. We got callers. Continue to call in. When you call in, I'm going to speak to everybody. Everybody will get their time. Please be patient, and do not curse because I'll get you out of here. I'm telling you. I'll get you out of here fast, okay? Fast. Faster than we got Jamal Adams out of here. That was fast. Get out of here. Get out of here. You box safety. Still running your mouth. You still talking about the Jets, dude? Damn. I thought we got you up out of here. That's what I thought we did. You still talking about us. We about to get back to these lines. My guy E's on the line. E, what's going on, my man? How are you feeling today? We're talking about this Jets offensive line, man. You look at this situation. Alex Lewis is a guy that some people look at and they're on the fence about him. There's some Jets fans that look at him and say, don't know, if I want to get rid of him or not. I'm a guy that's saying, hey, let's move on from him. Let's save the cash that we could possibly get back from him. What say you?
Here,
917?
Yeah, what's going on? This Venom.
Oh, this Venom G's. I thought this was E. Venom G's. My guy, salute to you. Yo, Venom G. Listen, Venom, hold on.
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Savage, hold on. It's a savage. It's a savage on the line. It's a savage, man. Listen, we already started early. I thought it was E. Listen, my guy Venom is something else. All right? Listen, don't mess with Venom. All right? We got a true savage on the line right now. We already know what time it is. So, Venom, listen, Alex Lewis, are you moving on from him, my friend? Are you releasing him?
Yeah, I definitely am, man. We gotta get better in the old line, man. It's the same thing in Philadelphia. You take a couple pieces away, you see how their quarterback reacts. So we got to get a replacement, better replacements. And who's ever picking these old lines, because we did the same thing 2 years in a row. So we have to make these decisions a lot wiser this go around.
Okay. So
and pull out that bankroll for a couple of them. You know.
See, now we talking. Joe
was being frugal.
Now we talking, Venom. Now we talking. We talking that cash.
Yeah.
We talking that cash.
Yeah.
Here we go. Listen.
Yo,
listen. Who is your number one target and an offensive line in free agency? I need to know, Venom, because you be calling in with all these grandpa takes, man. I want to hear that. I want to hear some fire. I want to hear that you are you blowing the bag? Are you going through the bag? What are you doing with the money? Who is your target, man? Who's your number one target?
I'm blowing the bag, man. I'm blowing the bag.
Talk to me.
I'm blowing the bag. I'm going with that tackle from the Pats, man, and then I'm going with Allen Robinson and maybe even Juju, man. You got to throw that bag out there. Probably just a cornerback too as well.
So you really blowing the bag. You talking about spending on impact positions. Now, let's start with this then.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. So let's get into it. How much are you offering Joe Thuney a year then? What are you giving him?
God damn, that's a tough one. Ah, man, Jesus. I know he's one of the top, O-linemen in the league, so I know he's going to have to be up there, man. So to protect your investment at quarterback, I don't care who it is, if it's Stan, if it's whoever we going with, it just needs to be. You got to build that line up first, and then you
give me a number.
I think that needs to be handled first.
Give me a number. Don't give me no grandpa. Come on, Venom.
What more do you want from me?
Come on, Venom.
I'm thinking 14 or 14 mil, I think, man.
14 mil. You think that's going to get Joe Thuney, huh?
12 to 14.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 to 14, man.
Okay.
So I know it's kind of risky up there, but I know, but we got to make sure our quarterbacks can be upright to throw that ball downfield.
You're right. Okay.
And then Allen Robinson, he's number one talent, man. I think he'll get everybody else around him a lot better.
Okay, so how much are you giving Allen Robinson in?
Whatever the hell he wants. we need one. Yo, I think we need one person to see. We need one superstar. Yo,
Venom said whatever the hell he wants.
We gotta pay the Jets price. We gotta pay that Jets price, man. Jesus, man. So, I think I don't know. I don't know what I'll pay them, but I think it should be a lucrative deal for them and somebody that stays on the field. Or I don't think he missed any games. I don't think Thuney missed any games as well either. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll both be productive and available targets. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. I look at the situation. And go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And I just want, people that's going to be players that's going to be on the field that's available to us, because we had this year, it was just so many players that were out that wasn't available to us. So we don't want to be back in that position again.
Yeah. I look at it the same. You talked a little bit about Allen Robinson. Everyone knows I love Allen Robinson. and I think honestly it's going to take somewhere near 20 million per season. I mean, if you look at what the top guys are getting paid, I'm keeping it real. You going into free agency, these top guys is getting paid what I think DeAndre Hopkins making like 21 million this year. We know when Amari Cooper got his deal, it was 20 million. You got, and you know, it's not just him that, you know, could be going into free agency. You know, you got Godwin, Kenny Golladay could possibly be out there too. So, you know, that number's going to get pushed up.
Guy from the Saints. He just got the $100 million receiver. You know, he just got paid, got hurt. You know, we don't want that type of situation, but you know, we need somebody that's a beast like that.
Yeah, we do. We need a number one wide receiver. That's literally what we need. And we need somebody, like you said, as well, that's going to be there. Because regardless of who is going to be the quarterback, we need somebody for them to throw to, point blank, period. We need a guy that when all the chips are down, when everything's falling apart, the quarterback can look at him and just say, hey, here's the ball. I'm going to put it in a position. Please make a play for me. Just like, you know, Deshaun Watson had in Texans with DeAndre Hopkins, just like when DeAndre went to Arizona, Kyler Murray has that now. Whoever we bring in, right? Whether we go get Deshaun or whether we stay with Sam or whether we, you know, draft a guy, you know, out of the draft to come in and throw the football for us, we have to give them weapons and a target, because we saw this year what happens when you don't allow your quarterback to have targets. Like guys that can really, really make plays on a consistent basis at the number one wide receiver spot. So you talking that talk, Venom.
When people
Go ahead.
People are talking about this, you gotta look at how, you know, how Carson Wentz was 2 years ago before the old linemen started leaving and all the players got hurt. And look at him now. Now he's getting traded for a second round pick or a third round pick in a second, which I think is a great way to trade him, because now what they did was erase that money off their books, send him over there for a second this year. And if you ball out this year or the next year, that second round pick is now the next year pick is potentially a first round pick, and that's how you should make deals happen. So Philly won all around the board.
Yeah, they did. You know, and that was going to be my next question for you, is when you look at that trade, them only having to give up a third and a conditional second round pick, you know, for a guy that's, you know, achieved quite a bit in this league. At one point, he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league. People were extremely excited about him. He was highly touted coming out of the draft as well. For the fans that want to trade Sam Darnold and thought that they, you know, or still think that they can get a first round pick for him, what are your thoughts? What would you say to them when you look at the compensation that was given up for Wentz? Do you still think, or do you even think at all, that we can get a first round pick for Sam Darnold possibly in a trade?
I think it's just, you know, the same thing what we're looking at is you know, just anxiety of these guys. They want to see so much for Sam, and with everything around him, just like what we saw with Jared Goff in Los Angeles, with nothing around him and with the coaching staff looking suspect, and then when a new coach come in and he flourishes, he goes to maybe the top 5 quarterback in the league, and that's what we've been going through, where the coaching staff didn't know what the hell was going on, how to use this guy. Let's see what it looks like under Robert Saleh and what his team's going to do before you walk away with this talent, because 4 years ago, Sam was in the talks of all these elite quarterbacks. So I think just give him a chance. You see what Baker's doing. You see what Josh is doing. Just put the pieces around him and let him go rock out. That's how you have to build around these guys. And it'll be such a, you know, it'll be crazy to let him go somewhere else and watch him ball out for the Pittsburgh Steelers or the 49ers or a team like that. That would be crazy.
Yeah. And so my final question for you before I let you go, Venom, because you didn't have a call, man. You didn't have a call. I ain't lying to you. You bring the fire. I ain't gonna lie. You bringing the fire. Okay. You bringing the fire so far. You bringing the fire. Yeah, you bringing the fire. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I'm gonna give you your roses. But my final question before I let you go is, we've talked about spending money in free agency, but when you look in the past, Joe Douglas has been kind of conservative with that. He hasn't really gone after many big name free agents, and if he hasn't really wanted to pay them the type of money that they've wanted to come in here. Are you concerned that this year he won't be aggressive yet again in free agency, in lieu of just thinking that he can just build through the draft. Is that a concern of yours going to free agency this year?
No, I think he's going to have to loosen up. He's going to have to stop being frugal with some of these players, because nobody's going to come here knowing that players want a chance to win, want to be in a good team, or the option to get paid. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing any of those, they're not even looking at you. So you're going to definitely have to give them some incentive to be on the team for 3-4 years. So it has to be something like that. And especially if they're good players, you can sell them on Robert Saleh. You can sell them on all these things that you want, but they either want to get paid to come here. They don't care about any other issues. They want to get paid, or they know they're going to win. And if you look at any place else, we're going to have to pay them to be here. So Joe's going to have to break that bank out a little bit, ease up off the coins and spend them out.
All right, Venom, listen, man.
Here, man.
Yeah, Grandpa Venom calling in. With the grandpa takes, he's always so safe and so logical. All right, salute to you, Venom. Let's give him a hand. Give him a hand. Give him a hand, yada, yada. Yeah, whatever, man. Grandpa Venom calling in with the logical takes. Listen, Venom. Listen, man. I got to get back to the rest of these callers, man.
Trying to get me to have Adam Gates thoughts.
Bruh, I'm trying,
Joe, can I ask you something about this? What do you think about all the stuff with Jamal Adams and all the craziness wanting to get away from Adam Gates and potentially him going to Seattle this off season?
Listen, first off, it's beautiful because a lot of listen. It's called karma. It's called karma, my man. You know what I'm saying? Car wreck coming your way. Yeah. You see that car? It ain't starting like it used to. It ain't starting like it used to, is it? Straight car wrecks, my man. Yes. That's what I say. I say yes. You did all that nonsense, right? You bashed the fan base. You ripped us from pillar to post. You did a full-blown spread. You were telling people in parking lots you couldn't wait to be a Dallas Cowboy, all to get out of here. Well, guess what? Now you might be, you know what I'm saying, reunited with your best friend. And it feels so good. Yes. And you know what else? Jamal, stop talking about the Jets, bro. Just stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? And we all know there's also some wrestling between, Russell Wilson and Seattle as well. He could be gone. Then you'd be in a rebuild your damn self. How'd that feel? You leave thinking you're going to go there and have a smooth rest of your career as you just bolt on the Jets, and then we turn things around with a respected coaching candidate and a new, a roster put together now because we got a quality general manager, and you over there trying to figure things out in Seattle yet again. I can't wait for that to happen to you, my man. But I got to get to the rest of these calls. Go ahead. I'll let you get the final word.
And I can't wait for Marcus May to reap all the benefits of that, man. I can't wait. He's a stand-up guy. He stood down. So Marcus May deserves it, man.
Big facts. Salute to you, Venom. I gotta go on. You have a good night, all right?
All right, Joe. Have a good one, man.
Listen, Venom G, salute to him. Listen, people talking about Jamal Adams. You get what you get, my man. That's called karma, man. That's called karma. That's all that is. You'll be reunited. It's going to be amazing to see. We're going to keep going to these lines, you know what I'm saying? But first, I'm going to get to my savages in the chat really quickly. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all. I see everybody. Ask me a question. We go back and forth. Again, if you're on Blog Talk Radio and you're listening to me through that, I also have a chat, because I live stream as well. Call my chat the savages because they're savage, man. They just get after it. My guy Jack White in the chat, salute to you, Jack White. Jack White says, I will ride with Sam, but we better hit on every pick in the draft. That's important. I don't know if we'll hit on every single pick. I don't know about that. But I do know that we'll hit, I think with Joe Douglas, you look at, our last draft, we hit on quite a bit of guys, man. Austin Davis, Mekhi Becton, we said we got out of him. Mims looks phenomenal. Joe Douglas has picked some guys, man, that's been able to come in and do some things. P. Ryan looks smooth. There's been some guys, man. So we're gonna keep going forward. Going to my guy Macau, man. Macau, I believe this is you on the line, my man. Good to see you. I'm gonna thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, man, I want to get your thoughts on this offensive line. When you look at it, you watched it the entire season. What was your assessment of this line, man?
What's up, Joe?
What's
I
going
bring
on?
that energy, Joe. You know me. You know, look, we got to get this started.
Yeah.
As far as that old line, they had their ups, they had their downs. It was mostly down. It was a lot of downs, especially like the moments when Beckham went out the game. Ooh, it was heartbreak city. You was like, oh, okay, cool, Sam, run it down. So for me, offensive line, like, again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but like, yo, we gotta address that in the offseason. Give me Thuney, give me Corey Linsley. That's honestly, if I'm Joe, that's where I'm starting. I know everything is skill position. Go pay A-Rob, $24 million, which again I'm fine with. Mm-hmm. However, I gotta make sure whoever is back there has a moment to throw the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, but the question then becomes as well, though, and that's understandable. But hey, how much are you giving those guys a year? Like you talked about Thuney. How much are you giving him a year to come here, man?
Me personally, I mean, I'm thinking Thuney anywhere between an 18 to 20 million a year range.
Wow. Okay.
Because again,
go ahead.
I guess my whole thing is like I know when Salah got hired, everything was no jet sacks, cool. And I'm not even looking at this as a jet sack. I'm looking at this as correcting past mistakes. Where hey, you know what? We weren't able to get our guy in the door. If we want Thuney and that is your number one target, go get Thuney. Make this that off season where you nab the players that you want to get, because all that's part of the culture too. Again, that whole Anthony Barr and I'm sick to my stomach. I can't even. We got to make that a distant memory. Like that kind of stuff is still associated with the Jets. So again, going out and getting your big name free agent, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. In my opinion, you got to spend that money. You got to open up the checkbook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's guys that are definitely making that cash. I think, Matthews, I think is a guy that's making around there. There's some linemen in this league that are making around that 19, 20. And let me tell you something, Joe Thuney, if he comes out, I can't knock you. I could see him definitely breaking the bank even now. But even going forward with that, kind of delving a little bit deeper into that question, because you want to spend, and I understand that, because you want to make sure you get your guy. But are you concerned that, you look in the past with Joe Douglas, he's not a guy that spends like that he's frugal, in free agency. He's not a guy that gets too aggressive. Are you concerned that he won't be aggressive yet again in this year's free agency, just kind of bargain basement shopping like he did in last year's free agency?
To a certain extent, yes, but at the same time, no. Mostly no, because I feel like that first year, Joe knew he had a pass. We kind of all knew he had a pass, and that pass was Adam Gase. So it was like, okay, cool. This isn't my head coach. This isn't a friend of mine, but this ain't my head coach. These ain't my players. Yeah. So now for me, this is the first year where Joe Douglas is truly on the clock, and now he's truly being like. The Salah hire, that was the moment where it was like, Joe, you're on the clock. You're finna get held accountable now.
Yeah. That's true.
So for me, in years past, him. I guess last year that was him setting. And I guess the way I'm looking at it, that was him setting himself up for success this year.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. Look, and sticking with this offensive line, because you're bringing the fire right now. You look at this situation, there's some guys that currently are on this line, there's some free agents that people are interested in bringing back, and one of them is Pat Elfin. Some people are saying, hey, we like this guy. We'd like to see him brought back. Is he a guy that you'd like to see re-signed as well?
I think he was a first-round pick. I'm always fine with the potential. I guess, the way I would treat Pat would be I wouldn't slot him in as my starter like right now at this particular point. But hey, you know what? You go into camp knowing, hey, we're gonna put bring in a couple young dudes or maybe a grizzled vet, see who wins out that battle, who's having a better camp or whatnot, and go from there. But Pat Elflein, if the deal is right, he's willing to come in, we'll come back for. Reasonable contract. I'm not paying Pat Elflein $8-9 million. So hey, Pat, if you want that here, you're going to just have to go ahead and hit the street. But, you want to come back on a 1-2 year, $1 or $2 million deal. Hey, I'm all for it. I guess approve a deal.
Okay. I respect that. And so my final question before I let you go, Macau, you bringing the fire today, man, is when you look at Cam Clark, man, what are your thoughts about him? I mean, there's a lot of Jets fans that look at the situation and they say, we drafted this guy. We haven't seen anything out of him. At some point, like, when are we going to see him possibly get filled in as a starter? Or a lot of people honestly want to move forward with him and just try him out there as the starting guard off the bat. They don't even really want to go in free agency. They have that much faith in Joe's drafting ability. What are your thoughts about him, man? And do you agree with some of those fans that just want to see him, be the starter?
Me personally, I mean, I know they got to take that first year, especially, offensive linemen. Hey, I mean, especially offensive linemen coming from a smaller school. You got to put that. I guess you got to get that NFL body on you. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a small dude to start with, but at the same time, I'm again, just like with Elfline, I can't slot you in as my starter without you proving yourself. Hey, if you hit camp and you go ahead and you do your thing and you legitimately beat somebody out, no problem. But Cameron Clark's gonna have to earn his spot just like everybody else. I mean, for me, him and Elfline, same boat. But again, if I bring in a Thuney, a Lindsley, that's my starter. But you too, you gonna have to earn it.
Yeah, okay, I respect that. Listen, Makai, I want to thank you for calling in tonight, man. You were phenomenal, Makai, absolutely phenomenal. You have a good night, all right?
You too, man. Be safe, Joe.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, Macau called in with the fire, man. He called in with the fire. I ain't gonna lie to him. I'm gonna keep getting to these lines. We got quite a bit of callers. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639, man. Call in. You know what I'm saying? We talking football tonight. We talking Jets O-line. We talking quarterbacks. We talking other free agents. The Jets could possibly go after. We're bringing it all. So we're gonna keep getting to these lines. This is my guy from North Carolina, man. I think this is my dude from North Carolina on the line. This guy knows his stuff. Listen, I'm coming straight out the gate with you. Give me your assessment of this offensive line, man. How are you feeling about it, and where do you think we need to improve going into the free agency?
How you doing, Joe? It's good to speak with you again. Yeah, it's a work in progress. I love Becton. Becton is the lineman that all future prospects are going to be compared to, like Daniel Falele.
Yeah.
But the rest of the unit is a lot to be desired. I think if we can come out of free agency with one of the top-tier linemen, whether it's the cat from the Patriots or one of the other top-tier linemen in draft 2, that might be what the doctor ordered to try to overhaul this line. We got to lay the foundation what we had back under Rex Ryan. You had DeBrickshaw Ferguson, you had Nick Mangold, you had some core pieces you could work with. Becton is a stud, but we need a little bit more. We're going to need to look at the interior, probably guard, center, stabilize that and settle that down. And I see some possibility with free agency. Obviously we can't blow what cap room we have. We're going to have to, be, somewhat frugal without being, too cheap. Mm-hmm. But I can see him, throwing it out there and trying to get one of the top-tier offensive linemen, because if they're going to reset the rookie quarterback salary cap, and it looks like all talk is around Zack Wilson, then I think he's going to be serious about trying to get at least one top-tier free agent offensive lineman, and he'll probably draft one or two, and then he'll take a look at what he drafted out of last year, and I think that's probably going to be the more likely scenario as far as the offensive line, and I can roll with that.
Okay.
I can roll with that.
Okay, so
right
when you
now the unit is in flux. Yeah.
I was just going into it. So when you look at this line right now, you look at this situation. You got Greg Van Roten. I think that could be on the chopping block. Also, Alex Lewis that could be on the chopping block. Are you getting rid of both of those guys to save money on the cap and then chasing guys in free agency? I mean, what are you doing with those two guys?
Well, I think as far as the center position, if I can bump him over to guard and see if he has some versatility going over to guard, I think I'll probably go that route with the center position. Guard, I'm going to look to replace it all together. I'm looking at Wyatt Davis in this upcoming draft from Ohio State. Several other offensive linemen to try to see if I can upgrade the interior. The interior is really where the biggest of the problems are. Becton is a stud. He's got a chance to be a future All-Pro. Fant has been serviceable. We knew he had the athletic traits to be a solid offensive lineman. It's going to be interesting to see with the new scheme how it's going to hopefully complement some of the offensive line we have, right now, like Fant and Becton. So that's something to keep an eye on. So if we're going to bring a new quarterback in here, we better protect him. We can't do that nonsense like Mike McCagnon done, patchworking the offensive line. That's what put us in this position to begin with. I've been watching football over 40 years. I've never seen a GM patchwork a line. I just see kind of patchwork on defensive line, get those guys at sixth round, fifth round, launch fail, put on your D-line. But I've never seen that done with an offensive line. I've never seen that before. Before McCagnon did it with us, and it really hurt us. And literally got Darnold hurt, early in his career, the foot injury, the bad snaps.
Spencer Long.
That's really what compromised and put him in a position to get hurt, early in his career. So we're gonna have to do our due diligence and fix this offense. We have great opportunity. We have cap flexibility, and we got multiple picks, but we couldn't be in a better spot. But what it is, they got to commit themselves to biting the bullet and doing it. I know everybody's tempted by, Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts and, and Travis Etienne. Everybody's tempted by those players. They're great players, all of them great prospects, but we're going to need to do is stay disciplined, build this offensive line first, at least this year.
Yeah.
If we can establish the fact we can run the ball like we used to under Rex Ryan and have solid pass protection, we'll be well on our way to turning this thing around. I think by next year will be a sure sign that we're turning it around and we're going to be very tough, very physical, very competitive. But we got to fix this offensive line. That's a must.
Yeah, that's
Zach,
a fact.
We're going to take Zack Wilson. I'm a little nervous. I love Zack. Yeah.
Yeah, that like you were saying, that's a fact. We must fix this offensive line. And when you brought up Mike McCagnon and the patchwork that he used to do along the offensive line, I was just laughing because I used to tell people all the time, this duct tape and chicken wire whole thing that he does every single year, getting all these guys that have been hurt, that have injury histories, guys that, really weren't good linemen where they were before, and then you're bringing them in here like they're going to be stars. That just is not a good idea. That's not the way that you want to, set the table for your quarterback. I used to always tell people, if you want your quarterback to eat, if you want your offense to eat, you got to set the table correctly. You got to make sure the guys are properly protected. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to have a good, good offense, period. And we've seen the outcome of that. But you talked about free agency a bit, and people have talked about it as well. Tonight we've been talking about Joe Thuney all night. And I want to get your thoughts on this. You talk about going in there and finding the guy. How much are you willing to pay Joe Thuney a year to get him in here? What's your cap? What is the most that you're willing to go? What's the highest you're willing to go until you say, you know what, I'm done, I'll go elsewhere? What's the cap? Give me a number.
For an offensive lineman of that caliber, you got to be thinking in the high teens, somewhere like 16, 18 mil. The numbers are going to be high. Mm-hmm. It's going to be higher than it would be for maybe much of your other key positions on the field because of the nature of that position. Yeah. You got to be thinking 16, 18 mil, somewhere in that. Then when you start getting to 21 mil, 20, it's a little steep for your salary cap. Your money's going to go pretty fast. So I'm thinking 18 million. That's the number I'm capping off at. And if they're going to ask me for more than that, I say thank you, but no thank you. And I'm going to look at some of the other positions and address the offensive line in the draft. Yeah. We got pick 23. Now, obviously, we can't use pick 2 because they're looking at quarterback. It's going to be Wilson or Fields. We know that. That's been in the books for weeks. Yeah. Now, we got pick 23, and we got pick 34. With those picks alone, we should be able to do something with this offensive line. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of names out there. Christian Durashaw, Wyatt Davis, my man Daniel Falele, I want to look at probably in the 3rd or 4th round. You know what I'm saying? He's a monster with a lot of upside potential, need a little bit of development. So that's where my mind is, to kind of address this offensive line early. Maybe take free agency and address the wide receiver position, if you know what I'm saying.
Cool.
Not to say I couldn't do it in the draft.
Okay, so
but we might need to kind of address,
Yeah, but let's talk about it. This is going to be my final question for you before I let you go. But you talk about going to free agency and addressing that wide receiver position. Who's your number one target?
Ooh.
You got Kenny Golladay could possibly be out there. Chris Godwin could possibly be out there. Allen Robinson could be out there. Some people like Will Fuller, Juju Smith. Yeah. Who's your number one target? Give me one guy.
Kind of Golladay, possibly Juju Smith. But
that's your number one target?
Have to cut out some of the anti possibilities, yeah. some
Okay.
of the extracurricular stuff had to be cut out. I think with Juju, he's going to have to cut it out. But Galladay,
Stop all the dancing, huh?
Oh, yeah, all that dancing and bull jiving, but cut out some of that stuff. Concentrate on football. It's going to be interesting to see if Saleh can regulate some of the behaviors and some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I question whether Joe Douglas is even going to bring that kind of cat into our locker. I don't think he is.
Yeah. Well,
He'll probably
look.
kick the tires on Juju, but I don't think,
Yeah, listen, I understand that people, the dancing and the stuff like that on social media has definitely brought some heat to Juju Smith.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand
Victor
why.
Cruz, we see Victor in the commercials. And everybody like Victor Cruz. Victor was likable with the salsa and stuff.
Yeah.
It was likable the way it came across.
Yeah,
and it was without showboating.
And a lot of the dancing on team stuff. But again, that's just listen. Juju, young, youthful guy. He likes social media, but the talent is there. The talent's there. Now the thing about Juju, and I will agree with you. I would like us to bring him in, but I don't know if he solves that number one that we need. I think he's a great number two. I mean, here he'd be a number one, point blank period, because we don't have much. But is he like that go-to number one that we need, like an Allen Robinson? That's my number one target. But I do like Juju, and I'd like to bring him in as well. So.
The thing is, Allen Robinson would definitely be my number one target, but that price tag is going to be pretty high, man. It's going to consume a lot of our cap. That money's going to go fast. Once we start getting into the frenzy, and players start moving around out there, it's going to go fast.
It absolutely is.
To say I don't want him, but I'd rather take that money and invest it in my offensive line. To me, it's offensive line, edge rush, and those are the two premium positions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm going to pay that hefty price, you're talking about like a $20 million payday per year. If I'm going to pay that, it's going to be for an offensive lineman, mainly tackle, or it's going to be an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Not wide receiver. I mean, there's too many good wide receivers in this draft. Terrence Marshall, Rasheed Bateman. Those are possibilities at 23 or 34. I'm thinking that too. So I don't think we need to get crazy and spend too much money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So how do you compare those wide receivers of free agency to Perriman? Do you think they're upgrades over Perriman, clear upgrades over him, which I'm hoping they are?
What do you mean? The three I just named? The Chris Godwin and Kenny Galladay and
compared to
Oh, those are, dude. It's just night and day. Like night. It's not even close. That's why I do not want to have anything to do with bringing back Rashad Perriman. Listen,
injuries, or you just think they're just better?
They're just
better
plain better. Yeah, those guys are just plain better. I mean, point blank, period. Okay. Even without, because Rashad Perriman, the injuries and stuff, but Rashad Perriman is not a number one wide receiver. Period. He's a number one here, but honestly, I don't think Rashad Perriman would be a number one anywhere in the division. Anywhere in our division, AFC East, I don't think he'd be a number one wide receiver for any of those teams, any of the teams here, period. So it's like when you look at the situation, we have to go get a number one. We have to find some way. Whether it be in free agency, I understand the price tag is going to be high for Allen Robinson. I get it. But that type of talent, if you can get it, and we have money, we have it. We don't have to blow everything, but we got it. But if we can't do that, then you got to do that. You definitely got to do that in the draft. But listen, I got to get to the rest of these lines, my friend. It's always great to talk to you, all right? I want you to have a good night, all right?
Yeah.
All right, you have a good night.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
All right, peace out.
Okay, now.
Listen, my guy from North Carolina is phenomenal. I love talking to him. Old Jets fans, he talks his stuff, man. Let's get this guy a hand, man. Give him a hand. This guy knows his stuff. He does. I'm going to salute him. He knows his stuff, man. Love talking to that guy. And he gets me into the draft every single time. I don't know how he does it, but he always gets me to start talking about the draft, start talking about things before, super early, give away my early takes, all kinds of stuff. But we're going to keep getting to these lines. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep getting to them. Everyone, again, 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639. I got callers. Please be patient. We'll get to everybody, all right? We're going to get to everybody. So we're going to go to my guy, Jason, next. Listen, Jason, I know you coming on, my man. It's time to talk. It's time to talk about these Jets. It's time to talk about things that we got going on. It is time to talk how to fix this offensive line, my man. Give me your thoughts on Alex Lewis and Greg Van Roten. Are you releasing them to save money on the cap and chasing one of the top offensive line targets in free agency? Are you doing that?
Absolutely, especially with Greg Wilson. I would release him. I would actually release. Actually, I would keep Alex Lewis as a backup guard just because we need a backup. But Greg Wilson, he needs to go. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like he can keep up, especially when you can get Thunley out there. That he is a star and can be so much great.
Mm-hmm.
It can help us in so many ways. You have to.
Okay, so let me give you this then. If we're talking about that, you're going into free agency. You're looking at the top offensive line free agents. Joe Thuney's a guy that pops up out there. Are you signing Joe Thuney? And if you are, what is your cap, man? I mean, what is the most that you're willing to spend on Thuney before you back away and say, hey, this is just too much?
Well, at this point, the offensive line needs help no matter what. So at this point, I'm willing to probably put up any number he wants to make sure he comes here. We have the money.
Yeah.
We have the money to do this.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. We do have the cash, but if he comes to you and says, "Listen, I want $19 million a season," are you doing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if Joe Douglas is serious about building this O-line, this is the way of doing it. And it might be expensive, but we have the money to do it.
Oh, listen, Jason said, I'm not playing around, man. I'm not playing around. I want to solve this issue. I want to solve this position. Let's make it happen. I respect that. All right, Jason, now we talked a little bit about the offensive line, but I want to talk about the Carson Wentz trade with you, man. You look at this situation. He got traded for a third rounder this year, conditional second rounder next year. I know there's a lot of people that want to move on from Sam Darnold, and, they thought they can get a first. When you look at that trade, what kind of impact do you think that has on Sam Darnold's value in the market, possibly for a trade as well?
Well, it's very interesting because one of the probably top teams that was going to probably give us a first or late first was the Colts. So now the Colts have the guy, and so it does. To say it doesn't impact us not one bit is flat out a lie, because it does. Because that probably lost us the best chance of getting a first round pick. Because I don't see the Saints trying to trade. Saints did call it about the Jets, but they didn't look serious into it. And Steelers doesn't look like they may just go with Big Ben, and so I think we lost our first round pick with our best chance, which is what's the Colts.
Yeah. You talking that talk, man. So my final question for you is, you look at this situation going to free agency. There's a lot of questions, particularly about Joe Douglas. He's pretty frugal, man. Are you concerned that he won't be as aggressive in free agency this year? The same way that he wasn't really aggressive this last year. A lot of people concerned that he'll bring that same attitude in this year's free agency, and we might miss out on some guys. Are you concerned about that as well?
Well, to be honest, I am to say that if I didn't have any concern would be a lie. I do have a little concern. The concerning bit's there, but as of remember last year, he was going to go against do a strong push against Thunley until the Patriots fighters tagged him in the last second, which messed everything up. So it will be interesting to see what we've done there. Would he bring the bag for him? Who knows? We will never know, but it's interesting now to see if he's going to do it this time. But, yeah, I am a little concerned about it.
Okay.
Because he likes to – because look what he did with Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
He tried to play low ball, and we lost out on a good receiver.
These takes you're bringing are fire, man. Give him a hand. Give this guy a hand, man. Jason bringing the fire tonight. Bringing the fire. Man, that was an excellent point. Because that's true. They were definitely going back and forth with Robbie, and they ended up losing out to the Panthers, and he went there. And like you said as well, Joe Thuney was one of the targets, rumored to be, a target by Joe Douglas. And once he did get franchised by the Patriots, kind of like at the last second almost, that kind of blew up some plans there. But there were other guys, Jack Conklin. There was other guys that could have been out there, but he just, he didn't go after those guys. He stuck to his plans. That's how we ended up with Fant and Rashad Perryman and all these other guys that we brought in. But Jason, listen, man, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. You have a good night, all right?
You too. Hey, before I go though, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
With the whole Jamal Adams thing, since he took a shot at us Jets fans, I'm about to take a shot at him. All of our Jets fans and Russell Wilson knows deep down that he would rather have those 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick than having him. We all know it.
Okay, good shot, man. You have a good night, Jason. Whew.
You too.
Listen, Jason had a little, he had some words. He had some words for Jamal. Everybody does. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. Call in. Do not curse when you call into my show because I'll get you out of here. I'm talking fast. Fast. Faster than we got Jamal Adams out of here for those 2 first-round picks. That was fast. It was fast. Woo. It was fast, baby. Woo. I remember talking about getting rid of that bum for years. Overrated box safety. Jamal Adams couldn't cover a bed with a bed sheet. That's the truth. That's the truth. We get back to the lines. 848. Looks like a brand new caller. 848. I'm coming directly to you. Give me your name, where you're from, and what is your assessment of the Jets' offensive line, man?
What's up, Joe? I'm Anthony. I live in New Jersey. Obviously, you're going to be cutting guys like Greg Van Roten, Alex Lewis, because I think in free agency, you should go after a guy like Joe Thuney, in my opinion, who's been one of the best guards in the league, and that's something the Jets really, really need.
Yeah. And salute to you, Anthony. I want to thank you for calling in.
And you're also probably going to look into the draft.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And guys like Wyatt Davis, maybe Trey Smith in the 3rd round. You're going to look. Joe Douglas, in my opinion, is going to be looking at a lot of guys in free agency in the draft when it comes to building an offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the draft is definitely going to be a big, a big wealth of talent for us. I think that, especially with the capital that we have, especially with some of the guys that we're going to be able to go after in this year's draft, particularly, especially if we trade down. If we trade down in this year's draft, we can definitely gain even more capital to help better our offensive line. Yeah. So there's definitely some options out there for us. But I want to get your thoughts on this because you talked about, going to free agency because you're moving on from Greg Van Roten. You're moving on from Alex Lewis, which I understand you want to get rid of those guys. But who is your top offensive line target? Who's the guy that you want to see the Jets aggressively go and get?
I was talking about my number one target when it comes to guards and all that is Joe Thuney, because this is, like I said, this guy's one of the best guards in the league, and I really think the Jets can use a guy we can actually sign him this year when he ended up getting franchise tagged by the Patriots last year. I was really mad when that happened, but I really hope we can make it up this year and sign him.
Okay, so how much are you giving if you're the general manager, you're Joe Douglas, Joe Thuney comes to you, how much are you willing to give him? What is your cap before you say, look, this is just too much, it's too rich for my blood, I'm out of here?
Listen, dude, but do you think he's going to go? If he were to go to the Jets, do you think he would get paid a lot?
Yeah.
A decent amount? Maybe $8 million? Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I would probably give him a 3-year deal with $8 million a year, in my opinion.
$8 million a year for Joe Thuney?
I thought I'd do that. But
I know you would. Anybody in the league would do that, but I don't think Joe Thuney is coming to your team for $8 million a year. Maybe 18. He's definitely going to get paid
more.
Yeah, for sure he's going to get paid more in the open field. This guy is one of the best guards in the league, if not the best.
$8 million a year.
Go ahead.
Listen, in my opinion, I don't really see too many guards get paid so much. I just don't really see it that much.
Oh, there's definitely guards out there getting paid for sure. There's guards out there making.
I understand, but there's not too many, in my opinion.
Well, he's a top level guard though. He's a top level guard. So even if you say not too many, he would definitely be in the talks of being a guy that should be a top level paid guard. So if he is, again, there's you're not gonna get him for just $8 million. I think you're gonna have to give up,
Yes.
You're going to have to give up quite a bit, and it's going to be more than $8 million a year. But look, I hear your take there, and I respect it, but I want to go to the talk about Carson Wentz and the trade and how can it impact, the situation with Sam Darnold. Are you a guy that wants to move on from Sam Darnold?
Listen, man. I've been a Sam Darnold fan. I would always defend him and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say look at the team he had and stuff like that. Look who was coaching him and all that. But as a big Sam Darnold fan, I just think it's just time to move on at this point, bro. In my opinion, he's just that one guy. I think he can go somewhere else and succeed. He can pull Ryan Tannehill and go somewhere else and succeed. I just think New York's just not the best place for him, in my opinion. If you put him on a team like the Saints, the Bears, the Washington football team, whatever, I think he's going to be able to succeed. I'm just really mad that, really sad about him that it just didn't work out here. So
yeah, okay. And look, and I hear you,
time to
but
move on at this point.
my question for you is if you want to move on from Sam Darnold, then what exactly do you think you're absolutely going to get for him? Like, do you think you'll be able to get a first rounder for him?
Listen, I think he's gonna be able to get more than Carson Wentz went for him. Because Joe, you can disagree with me, but I just think Darnold's going to end up being a better player than Carson Wentz in the future. He's 4 years younger. I think he has more. In my opinion, I think he has more potential.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to realize he hasn't had a chance to be good. In my opinion, I just don't think he's had a chance. He hasn't had the best receivers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see who's coaching him. Not even just Gase. You had Journey Bates as his offensive coordinator, and look, that didn't work out either. He played better on the Journey Bates, but it wasn't too much better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a question then. So, if you're saying that,
here we go.
If you're saying all those things, he hasn't been coached correctly. He hasn't had the offensive weapons. He hasn't been protected correctly. You're saying all those things. He's younger. You think he's going to be better than Carson Wentz.
And he hasn't had a strong defense.
You're right. Then if you're saying all those things, can you please explain to me why you're trading Sam Darnold then? Why do you want to get rid of him? Why can't we just keep him and succeed with him?
You have to. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a little risky, in my opinion. Because, and also.
But you just told us just a second ago, you just told us that you think he's going to be better than Carson Wentz ever was. You think that he's going to have more talent. He's younger. He's got all the attributes that you could possibly think of to be a great quarterback in this league. You just said that yourself. So how is it risky if you're looking to get a first-round pick for him? How is it risky to continue to move forward with him? Because you yourself say you believe in his talent and everything that he can do, but he hasn't had the true opportunity and chance to succeed in this league.
Just somewhere else.
But why not here?
With the Jets, I just don't know.
But why not here, though?
I just don't know about the Jets, though.
Yeah, and I understand. But my question for you is, though, why not here? You say go somewhere else. What changes somewhere else? The talent level, the coaching, because we have better coaching here, right? Our talent level is being raised because we finally have a general manager that understands what to do in the draft.
Yeah.
We have a guy that understands what to do in free agency this year as well. With the Mike McCagnons are gone, the Adam Gaze's of the world are gone. All those guys are gone. They can't hurt us anymore. We're in a better space. We're in a better space financial wise. We're also in a better space in our franchise wise. So can you please explain to me why Sam can't succeed here?
It's just, and my point is, I'm not going to be against it if it happens. I'm just saying, you have to look at the other quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft. You have possibly a Deshaun Watson trade soon. So I'd rather go for those guys. It's just, it's not. I'm not trying to say that. That's just me. Literally, I'm not going to be against if we end up keeping Sam, which I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't be against it.
Okay. Yeah, look, Anthony, listen, I respect you and I respect your takes. I got to get to the rest of these callers, though. Anthony, it was great to speak to you, man. You got some great takes on you. Please call in again, man. I want to hear from you when I do my next show, all right?
I will.
Absolutely.
Really nice talking to you.
All right, you have a good night, my friend.
All right, I'll see you next time.
All right.
You too.
Listen, Anthony calling in with fire. I'm going to challenge your points. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to challenge your points. If you tell me that you think Sam Darnold is the bee's knees, if that's what you're going to do, you know what I'm saying? And you telling me, I think he's amazing, but I think we need to get rid of his ass. I'm just asking questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking questions, guys. That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking questions. I'm not sad. Not me, guys. You think Sam Darnold's amazing? I just need to know, why are we trading him? That's all I need to know.
You're smoking crack. Stop.
That's all. I'm just asking questions. So I'm going to get back to these lines. I'm coming to you, man. 818, I'm coming directly to you. It's my guy, Jacob. Jacob, thank you for calling in tonight. It's great to speak with you. Give me your thoughts and assessments of this offensive line, my friend.
I think it's got a promising future, but I think there's definitely some moves to be made. I think cutting Greg Van Roten, I'm not so sure because he's not the most expensive guy, but I think Alex Lewis, I believe his cap hit's like $7 million or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And I think it was nice for us to bring him back last year when he showed some promise, but this year, I mean, he was out with personal health issues. So I don't think it's worth keeping him around. I think he's a great guy, but I think you got to put feelings to the side when it comes to football some of the time.
Yeah. I look at the situation and I say to myself, Alex Lewis, we all know, had an issue, reported that there was an issue between him and a coach that is no longer here as well. And I look at the situation and I say to myself, his play was very up and down, even when he was on the field. To me, I would get rid of Van Roten too, because I don't think Van Roten is very good at all. You look at some of his play; he costed us in the Niners game, missed a block. Like, there was big time issues up front, and I understand that people look at those guys and they're like, "Hey, they're cheap." I mean, you could save some money, getting rid of Van Roten as well. I think it's like $3.4 million saved, and I look at that and I say, we can take that cash. Yeah. You save, like you said as well, you save that cash from Lewis, which I think is somewhere like $5 to $7 million, something like that. You take that cash and you add Van Roten's cash, you can go get an upgrade there along the offensive line, which we all know that we need. You know what I'm saying? I think we'd all agree that this offensive line needs to be better and be improved. Now, for me, the first thing I'm doing is I'm saying to myself, I understand that the draft is there. I get it. But, man, some of these linemen in free agency, these guys are some guys I'd love to bring in.
Right.
Now, I like Joe Thuney. I don't know about you, but I like Joe Thuney for sure. What are your thoughts about him? And, is he the top lineman you'd like to see brought in?
I think it's interesting. I think Joe Thuney is definitely one of the top two for me. But for me personally, I actually like Corey Linsley a bit more than I like Joe Thuney.
Okay.
Mainly because he's able to play center for us. And when we brought in Connor McGovern last year, he had actually played guard for like a majority of his career, and we asked him to come here and play center. And I don't think he did a bad job, but I think if we can actually bring in, I think Corey Linsley was actually the top center in the league this past season. Mm-hmm. If we can bring him in and slide Connor McGovern back to his main position and see how he does there, rather than trying to force him into a different position that he wasn't really familiar with, I think that would actually set us up for more success.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that. I absolutely respect that. You look at this situation as well, I'm wondering about Joe Douglas, because other people are looking at him too and saying, hey, this is a guy that we definitely think, he's a heck of a GM, but we're a little curious about, his habits in free agency, not spending. Are you concerned about that as well? Do you think he'll go into this year's free agency and be extremely conservative?
I don't think he'll be nearly as conservative as last year. I think last year, really, he had a vision for the future. I think he probably thought to himself, all right, well, this crazy-eyed dude named Adam Gase, he's going to be out of here next year. This season's sort of a waste. I don't want to waste all our money on just guys who are going to help us go 3-13 instead of 2-14. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? But I think this year he'll definitely be a little bit less conservative. I think he's not going to go full-on overboard to get some of the top guys. I think he'll be able to go a little bit over what he would like to if it means getting some of the guys here, but I think he's still going to be a smart general manager about it. Like, I don't think he's going to go – if Allen Robinson, we're trying to get him for $20 million and he wants, 21 or 22, I think he'll do it. But if he wants 25, 26 million, I think he'll say, have a nice day.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be too aggressive, like not nearly like the Mike McCagnon area where just overpaying just tremendously for guys who are just out of here already, like Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. That's a great take there, man. Listen, I got to get back to these lines. It was great to speak to you tonight. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend?
Yeah, for sure. Can I say one more thing also?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I know every time you tell people, don't swear or you'll be out of here faster than Jamal Adams was traded. Instead, you could actually say, don't swear on my show or you'll be out of here faster than we cut Le'Veon Bell from his contract.
Oh, man. All right, man. He took the shot at Le'Veon. Salute to you, man. You have a good night, all right? He took the shot at Le'Veon before he ran off, man. You know, it is what it is. You know, I respect Le'Veon Bell. I like Le'Veon Bell a lot, but, you know, that guy's a savage, man. He's one of the dudes, you know, that be in the chat. And no one's safe. Nobody's safe. We're going to keep getting to these lines, man. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. You could call in. Please be patient when you call in. I get to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, you got callers, so we're going to talk to everybody. But I'm getting back to these lines again. Whew, he took that shot before he ran off. Mike, I'm coming to you. Mike, 845, I'm coming directly to you, Mike. Mike, I want you to give me your thoughts, man.
Joe, how you doing?
How you doing, man? Listen, I want you to give me your thoughts about this offensive line, my man. Give me your thoughts. What is your assessment of them?
Well, I think you and I are going to respectfully drop the gloves tonight. And the reason I'm saying that is that Joe Douglas came in. He was smart about it. And I think he did make some questionable free agency moves at center. He brought that retired from the Panthers.
Matt Khalil.
I think he has a plan, and I think he's going to stick to it. We're not going anywhere in the next 2 years. That doesn't mean we should mail in the year. That doesn't mean but that does mean that we should not overspend for free agency.
Mm-hmm.
We should progressively get better, younger and better, so that we're positioned in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I go back to the different sport, the New York Rangers about 20 years ago. They were spending out the wazoo on free agents, and they had all of this talent. They couldn't mesh them together and make a team out of it. So I think that really what I'm trying to say is that he's got to stick to his plan, add value where you can for a reasonable price. Even though we have money, you just can't piss it away.
Yeah.
You have to be in a position where in 2 years from now you can make a critical move to get one or two pieces, you know, to finish the puzzle. So with that being said, let me back up a little bit. There's a lot of different variables to look at, and as long as he's progressively upgrading, because obviously, you know, we've talked before, offensive line, defensive line, that's where the game is won and lost, obviously.
Facts.
And in the rest, you know, then I would say, other than obviously quarterback is critical, but other than that, then you'd want, I would think, quarterback to shore up, and then let's say an edge rusher. But you know, on the offensive line, I say, you know, get what you can get, but I would not go after these high-priced free agencies. We're 2 years away. Look what we did with what's the guy's name? The inside linebacker. $18
Mosley.
million a year from Baltimore.
Mosley.
Yeah, and he's a great guy. And I'm sure he's a great character guy, but you pay $18 million a year, and there are some things that happen, right? So let's say he played and we won a couple more games, yada yada, but. I mean,
yeah, but
you know, we're still not going to be good enough for another couple of years.
Listen. And first off, Mike, I want to thank you for calling in. Look, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But to compare the signing of Mosley to who is a impact, who plays a non-impact position, to a guy like Joe Thuney, who literally, is a sticking point on your offense. You find a guy that can block and do the things that he does. Not only does he better your quarterback, right? Not only do you understand, you know, that he keeps your quarterback upright. He's not running for his life, but the running game also improves behind him too. I understand not wanting to pay too many, overpriced free agents or guys, you know, that are just going to get their money. I get that. I'm all about it. But I'm also looking at a situation and I'm saying to myself, you can still utilize free agency to better yourself and then mix that in again with the draft. I'm not saying buy our entire team through free agency. Mike McCagney used to try to do that, and we saw what happened. we failed, you know what I'm saying? Right. Because we didn't have cash. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying let's pick our spots, because let me say this. You look at a team like the Bills, right? The Bills, what did they do? Yeah. They utilized that as well. Diggs, Cole Beasley, John Brown, they didn't draft those guys. Those guys were not drafted by the Bills. They came from somewhere else, right? But they utilized free agency to get the guys in there to help Josh Allen continue to be a better quarterback. right? They did what it took. I mean, they made trades, but they got the other two guys in free agency, but they're paying guys. They're paying Diggs to be there. They're paying those guys. So if we can utilize free agency to maybe get one or two guys, mix it in with the draft, right? And again, I don't know if we're, I don't know if you're, trying to, I don't know exactly what the plan is going to be in the draft. I think we should trade down. But if we could trade down, we have a wealth of picks. We also got, we got four first rounders in the next 2 years. We got a lot. We got a lot of stuff. So you could end up really drafting a team that could be better. I personally believe that we could be a team, if we do this correctly, and I've talked about this, I think we could be contending within the next 2 years. Truly. I'm not saying winning a Super Bowl, but I'm talking making a push to be a really solid playoff team. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we should back away from free agency, but we need to be smart about it. That's my point. And I think Thuney, for me, when you look at the offensive line and the way they played this year, Thuney, for me, is one of my top free agents that I want on this football team. Go ahead. I'll let you get the last word.
All right. So let me back up a little bit. So Joe Douglas is in the driver's seat for hiring the coach, right? Salah, right? Pretty much?
Yeah, Robert Salah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sure they have a somewhat of a general, closely aligned philosophy, which is step number one for winning, right? That they think alike, where they're not like that they're along the same lines in the way they think.
Absolutely.
So it's really the way I see this playing out is that it's going to come down to they're going to figure out the quarterback position. Are they going to collectively agree that Sam is going to work or not going to work? And then, if not, they'll trade him and they'll move on to the quarterback. Once they have that, then I think they're going to be hand in glove looking at, where do we need to upgrade and where are we willing to push the envelope? All I'm saying is, and I agree that we need to go through predominantly through the draft and free agency. All I'm saying in New York sports historically, or a lot of times, we've seen we're going after names that don't necessarily fit the philosophy or the puzzle. I'm just saying be careful of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can, you don't have to go from the bottom of the scrap heap. And obviously it's going to be a combination. But, and I agree with you. The offensive line, I've told you before, and we've discussed it before, offensive line and defensive lines are critical. That's where the game is won and lost. So we're not far off.
Yeah.
I'm just saying be careful of the high flyers with the big names. And
for sure.
That. But
Yeah. No, and I completely understand that. That's why the guys that I'm targeting. Yeah, no, I hear you. And that's why the guys that I'm targeting, Joe Thuney, he's been in our division. Like he's dominated us for quite some time. He's dominated us for quite some time. You know what I mean? Like that guy's the real deal. And again, Allen Robinson is one of my targets too. I believe he's a real deal. You look at him, he's never really had a good quarterback. Still been making plays though. Still. I was hoping that we would get him the last time he went to free agency. But I understand your point there. You want to be careful. You don't want to end up with a Tremaine Johnson. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely want to attack free agency. Right. But listen, Mike, I got to get back to the rest of these lines, man. They heating up. Got quite a bit of callers. It was great to talk to you, my man. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, Mike, man. I love your takes. I love going back and forth with you, all right?
You as well. Stay well.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, Mike be calling in, man. Me and Mike definitely go back and forth. We agree on a lot, but there's a lot of things we don't agree on. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely got to talk that talk. So I'm going to keep getting to these lines. You know what I'm saying? Again, 515-602-9639. We're going to keep going. We got quite a bit of callers. We're going to get to everybody. Be patient. Do not call into my show cursing. I'll get you out of here. Faster than we got Jamal Adams out of here. Get your ass out of here. Get your ass out of here, Jamal. Stop talking about the Jets in all your interviews, you bum. You know what I'm saying? Go find somebody to cover. You know what I mean? You're missing guys left and right on the field. Overrated box safety. 646. I'm coming directly to you. 646 new caller. Give me your name, where you're from. You know what I'm saying? Give me your name, where you're from. And what are your thoughts about the Jets offensive line? What's your assessment? 646. Going once?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, 646. I can hear you. First time calling. What's your name, where you're from? What are your thoughts on the Jets offensive line? What's your assessment of them?
Hey, what's up, Joe? It's Colin from Long Island.
Oh, what's going on, Colin?
Yeah. So, love the show, by the way. I always watch. Figure I'd call in tonight for the first time.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for supporting the content. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So, as far as Sam Darnold's concerned, I didn't think he was worth the first-round pick. when everyone else was saying, "Oh, we may get a first and all that." I think if we get a late second, third, that's I'm happy with that. So as far as the offense line, we drafted Becton, so I'm happy there. I think for me, Joe Douglas to me is not a guy that's going to go and spend the money for Tooney.
Okay.
I just feel like Joe Douglas. I just feel like he's not going to spend a lot of money on any one player. I think he may look to maybe get like a Wyatt Davis in the second round, or an offensive person in the second round.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to spend $17 million a year on Tooney, which would be the ideal thing to do, but I just don't think he's going to do that.
Okay, so going back to just really quickly, because you have some takes that you threw out there. You look at Sam Darnold, and I know you're saying you're looking to get at least a second-round pick for him. Are you a guy that wants to move on from him? And if so, who exactly are you targeting? Are you a guy that wants to get into Deshaun Watson sweepstakes? Are you looking to draft a quarterback? What are you trying to do there?
So I would definitely move on from Sam Darnold, being that we have the second pick. I just feel like with that second pick, we just have so much options. We can go a Zack Wilson, a Justin Fields. We can, try to trade to get Deshaun Watson. I think if you can get Watson, you have to do whatever you can do, right? So just do whatever you have to do to get Watson.
Oh, what's the cap though? When you say whatever you have to do, Texans could be looking for quite a bit. Are you willing to give up 4 first-round picks? Let's say they ask for the next 4 first-round picks that we have for the next 2 years. A second-round pick, a third-round pick, and Quinnen Williams. Are you doing that?
Not giving up Quinnen Williams, but I would give up the two first-round picks this year.
Okay.
Right. And like they would say, if push comes to shove, I'll give up the next 2 next year. Because if you think about it, we're giving up our 2 first and Jamal Adams. Right?
No, I understand that take. I get that take, but again, they're giving you a generational quarterback. I understand, because that trade will be comfy for us. I'm not denying the logic behind that. I've heard that take, but again, when people say that, I say, okay, well, I understand that. Basically, we'd be giving up Jamal Adams because we got those 2 first-round picks for him. But why would the Texans take that when they're giving up a generational quarterback? Those things are priceless. We know the quarterbacks in this league are just one of the most coveted position, especially quarterbacks that are like him, right? Guys that just they're out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's serious business. He's proved it year in and year out. So when you look at the Texans, if they do trade him, they're going to be asking for a haul because they literally have to rebuild their entire franchise. They ain't got nothing. Once he's gone, they ain't got nothing. They need it all. So that's why, and again, that's why the rumors are flying, especially from the Texans reporters. Well, I think his name is McClain. He's talked about it. He's said time and time again, that Quinnen Williams is a name that he keeps bringing up. That's what the Texans should get, because they're going to need somebody on the defense, but they're also going to need, picks and capital for the future as well to continue to build that offense. But, there's a lot of Jets fans as well. They're battling back. They're not willing to give up some of the the capital that I think that the Texans would need. But look, I hear you there. But let's say we go into the draft, because you talked about Justin Fields. You talked about Zack Wilson. Who's the guy you want selected there, right? Say Deshaun Watson gets traded somewhere else. He's gone. You want to move on from Sam Darnold. What is the guy that you're picking at 2? Are you taking Justin Fields at 2?
Yeah, I'm taking Fields.
Okay.
I know a lot of Jets fans are saying Wilson, and I'm just a believer of having a guy like Fields over Wilson, just more so because of the size. Like, I'm a little nervous about Wilson being, and when they finally do the measurement and the weighing, he may only come in at like 210. I'm just afraid that once he starts getting hit with these big guys on defense, that he's not going to hold up. Everyone is, everyone right now is knocking on Fields, but I just feel like for me, from his 2 years, right, in college and what he has done, he's played well in big games. he had a couple of bad games. Every great quarterback have bad games. Peyton Manning in his first year in the NFL threw for 26 touchdowns and 26 interceptions.
Yeah.
So, go figure, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, everyone has their opinion, but for me, I think Fields fit better, right, in the New York market, and I just feel like he has that higher ceiling, and that's the guy I would go for.
Okay. Look, I respect that, Colin. Listen, I got to get back to these calls, man. You lit it up tonight. Get this man a round, man. Get this man a round of applause. This guy knows his stuff, man. Let's give him a hand. Let's give him a hand. I give people their flowers. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too crazy in studio audience. Don't get too crazy. Cut it down. You know what I mean? These people get out of control. Don't be clapping too hard for everybody. All right? We love everybody. We respect everybody. Don't clap too hard. But salute to you, Colin. Again, thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, my man. You guys gave some great takes tonight. You have a good night, all right?
Yeah. All right, Joe.
All right, have a good one. Listen, my in-studio audience, man, they get a little crazy. They be clapping a little too hard for some people. You know what I'm saying? Cheer for me. You know what I'm saying? Cheer for me a little bit. That's all I want. Where's my audience? Where's my claps? Thank y'all. Finally. You know what I'm saying? I just want a little bit. Just a little something. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a little bit of something? Can I? Thank you. Y'all can, we're going to keep getting to these lines, though, man. Again, 515-602-9639. You can call in. We're going to keep going to these lines. When you do call in, please be patient. You know what I'm saying? Please be patient. I'm getting to everybody. Listen, I'm getting to my guy, Freddie from Baltimore. Man, listen, Freddie be calling in. He be calling in crazy. He be wilding. I respect Freddie. I like Freddie a lot. But Freddie be talking that talk. He going to give you his take. So, Freddie, salute to you. Thank you for calling in tonight. It's great to hear from you. I want you to give me your thoughts about this offensive line, Freddie. Are you getting rid of Alex Lewis and Greg Van Roten, man? What are you doing?
Greg Van Roten, yeah. Alex Lewis, no.
Okay.
He did all right, especially towards the end of the season. Joe Douglas, I trust him, especially. He made a few bad calls, and when he first got here. But you got to remember the situation is the offensive line was in shambles. He grabbed who he could. He pulled the dude out of retirement to the left of man, but he did, because he was trying to fix, on the slot.
Yeah.
Now I agree with you when you're talking about Joe Thuney. He'll spend the money to get him because he knows how important it is to have an offensive line. Plus, Joe, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Last season, even though the Jets was messing up when they went on ahead and won them 2 games towards the end, the offensive line looked pretty good.
No, well, towards the end. But again, that was towards.
Okay.
Listen, hold on. That was towards the end of the season. They were playing decently, but let's not get confused about what about the entire season. Do you remember that Niners game?
No.
Do you remember that Colts game? Do you want me to keep going about the games that we saw where guys were? What about let's go to that Denver game when Mekhi Becton, right, when he played and then he went out with that shoulder issue. Did you watch the offensive line that game? Did you watch guys literally, Sam hiked the ball and dropped back, and there was a guy in his ear already, and he only had the ball for like 2 seconds. Look, I get that some people are going to try to romanticize certain players. Look, Freddie already know. Listen, I get that some people are going to start romanticizing players like Pat Elfin and all these guys because, oh, yeah, they were playing really good towards the end of the year. Look, it's not just about the end of the year. It's about the entire season. Those guys were terrible starting the season. And never mind the fact that there were guys in and out because we had injuries. We need guys that are going to be able to play on a weekly damn basis. I'm not in love with bums. I want to move on. I want a better offensive line. I want what the Cowboys had. Remember when they were just running Zeke every play and everybody knew it was coming and there was nothing anybody could do about it? Y'all remember that? That's what I want. That's what I want. And we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have the draft and we have capital. All I'm saying is that I'm not saying we should buy 5 Joe Thuneys. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, can we get 1 Joe Thuney and then go into the draft and continue to build? That's all I want, Freddie. Can we do that?
Joe, you preaching to the choir. Yeah, I want the I want what you want. When you was telling me that, I was like, I was closing my eyes and envisioning what you were saying. I was like, in the perfect world, yeah, man. You know, I agree, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? In their defense, you got to remember that they had the offensive scheme. They had Adam Gay. You know, we don't no longer got Gay. You know, and you right, it just looked like a scene from The Longest Yard when they just stick a Burt Reynolds and they just straight bum wrestling. You know, I was like, wow. You know? Look, I got a bone to pick with you because I'll be listening to every word that come out your mouth, man.
Yeah.
You like, I want to trade down.
Yeah.
You know, and I know from your past shows, you've been a Sam Darnold guy.
I have.
You know, but I mean, do you think that we've seen a large enough sample size to say it's time to move on from Sam Darnold?
Ooh, Freddie, this is a good question. So this will be the last question before I got to let you go because I got callers. But this is a great question, Freddie. Listen, okay. I understand why people want to move on from Sam Darnold. I get it, right? I understand that side of the take. But my problem is when you say a larger sample size, you've never seen Sam Darnold with a competent offensive line. You've never seen Sam Darnold with like real weapons. And you've never seen Sam Darnold with competent coaching since he's been here. You've never seen that. Literally, if you go back last year and look at our plays, look at all the highlight plays from our offense, like 90% of them are him running for his life away from pressure, like running, just taking off and making a play. We just talked about it. Go back to that Broncos game. He had a big run in that game because he took off because there was guys on his back already. So all that stuff is like, I don't necessarily see how you can properly assess him when he's never had any of those things here. And I think back to, again, I watch SC. I'm an SC guy. Dude, he has never looked like this anywhere else, ever. So I just think that we should give him a chance under weapons with real coaching and allow that to move forward. But I got to get back to these callers. Freddie, listen, I want to thank you for calling in, my man. You have a good night. Next time I have a show, Freddie, I want to hear from you, all right? You're a heck of a caller, man.
All right, Joe.
All right, you have a good one.
You have a great night, too.
Same to you.
Man.
Listen, Freddie be calling in, man. We're going to keep getting to these lines. 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639. I'm coming to my guy, Chris, man. I'm going to my guy, Chris, 857, my guy, Chris. Listen, Chris, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. How are you doing? Give me your assessment of this offensive line, my man.
Good. What's up?
What's going on?
Well, I think that hey, what's happening? I think the offensive line needs some free agents and we need to go in the draft and get them, you know. So I think that if you're looking at if Thuney's available and he's the only guy, then you have to go it. But there'll be other suitors around.
What about
him.
Brandon
I'm
Sheriff?
Scared, obviously. I think that Ron Rivera is like an offensive lineman. He likes guys in trenches. So I think that he's probably going to be re-signed.
Okay.
So I think that possibly. New England may let him go. I don't know what the cap situation is, but from up here, you're scared of letting New England linemen go to free agency because, once they get into another system, are they that good? That's the question.
Okay.
Because you look at the some of the guys that left that system when they go into another place, they're not the same guys. So that will be my only concerned about the offensive line. But as you said, listen, I'm of the thing about Sam Darnold, and this is what I wanted to call about. I love the fact that I've told you previously that I want Deshaun Watson. I still feel that way.
Okay.
But if it came down to Sam Darnold and Zack Wilson, I'm going with Sam Darnold. This is the reason why.
Go ahead.
This is the reason why, okay? Sam Darnold, if you look at Sam Darnold's college and you look at Zack Wilson, I haven't seen Zack Wilson play against anybody that's, strategizing and the real NFL players on the other side. Yes, he can fit into a West Coast system, but so can Bubby Brister. We don't know who he is. At least Sam Darnold is we know what he can do. And you're absolutely right. If you give him Juju Smith-Schuster, you trade down and build around him, I think that's the best option at this point. That's the best, and that's the only option. Another thing is that, do we really want to see Jet fans another rookie quarterback running around? I don't want to see that, and that's the thing that people forget. They said get Zack Wilson and get Justin Fields. Well, you bring them in, you're gonna bring them the same thing. They're gonna be running around, running for their life. I mean, we're almost stuck with them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Look, and I hear you. He brought out the Bubby Brister. I didn't say it. I didn't say it, Chris. Don't be coming after me because I didn't say that. Anybody that listens, do not tweet me. Don't be hitting me up saying, Joe, you said. No, I did. But listen, we gonna go there.
Here we go.
Here we go. We gonna go there. Look, I hear what you're saying. And like I said, I think we need to shore up the offensive line as well. And you brought up a great point, not having a young quarterback running for his life yet again. But my question for you, and this is going to be my last question before I let you go, is are you concerned about Joe Douglas going in free agency and being conservative like he was last year? Are you worried that he won't do what it takes to, spend the cash to bring in those big-time free agents that'll want to get paid?
I think he's going to be he has a set up price for free agency and free agents, and he's going to stick to that. But
Okay.
but ultimately, if we don't get to Deshaun Watson, I'm of the point of trading down all the way down to maybe the 23rd, 24th pick, and just grabbing offensive linemen and position players in the second, third round, and just bringing in 12 or 15 guys and building the team that way. I mean, ultimately, this is a rebuild.
Yeah,
we got to face the fact, man. This is a rebuild, man.
Yeah. A lot of fans don't think that, but you just brought up an excellent point. That is the absolute truth.
Over, man.
Yeah, we are still in a rebuild. But listen, Chris, I want to thank you for calling in, my man. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
All right, bro. Thank you.
All right, you have a good night. Listen, Chris calling in with the big facts. A lot of people don't want to think about that. You know what I mean? We're still in a rebuild. We still trying to figure out what's going on here. We got a lot of stuff. We got capital. We got cash. We can do some things here, but we still, trying to figure things out. So I'm gonna keep getting to these lines. You know what I'm saying? Next guy, I'm going my old Jets fan, man. This is my old guy coming in. Salute to you, my man. Listen, 862, I'm coming directly to you. Look, I want to get your thoughts. First off, I want to thank you for calling in, and I want to get your thoughts on this offensive line, my friend. What do you think about this? Are you getting rid of Alex Lewis and Greg Van Roten?
Not really. At this point, I'm thinking about what we're going to do with another 2 picks so that we can trade down and maybe get Slater, Ravon Slater.
Okay,
because at this point,
okay,
no, I'm only going to let you know that Penny Sewell, it would be my pick. I would have taken, people don't appreciate the guard. They don't appreciate the tackle. In the long run, if Penny Sewell is the number 1 pick of this draft, I would take him. After taking Mekhi Becton, we would have 2 tackles that would be the best in the league. And then at that point, we would be committed to Sam Darnold. And at this point, after watching him, he's not getting better because he's not getting good coaching. So I would take Penny Sewell with the number 2 pick, switch in and put Becton at right tackle. Imagine that. Put him at right tackle. And then probably tackle Alex Leatherwood later in the draft or somebody like that. And then we would have the best offensive line in the league, and Sam Darnold would be able to be trained to be a better quarterback because he has all the talent. He's got all the arm talent anybody's ever seen. Is that he was playing with the worst coaching staff in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, damn. I mean, you're coming in with takes. I know a lot of people that look at that number 2 pick and different things that you can do. But if you think that we could get, so you're taking Penei Sewell you're taking Sewell probably at number 2, or are you trying to trade down within a certain range to get him, or what are you doing? So where are you taking him at?
Well,
to be honest with you, a couple years ago, when the Giants took Saquon Nelson, I wanted Quentin Nelson. And here's the point. You don't really get points for drafting a guard. You really don't. But Quentin Nelson's a Hall of Famer. If he keeps up with his career, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, if no one's willing to trade me down to, let's say, the 5 pick, which would be something like, is that Cincinnati? Who's got the 5 pick? Cincinnati?
I believe it is Cincinnati. Yeah, it is Cincinnati. It's Cincinnati. And I think Atlanta's at 4, and Philly, I think, is at, like, after that.
Okay, so you know Atlanta's not going to take a lineman.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they're not going to do it. The point I'm trying to make is you take the best player available. Just imagine Penny Sewell, the offensive lineman of the last 10 years with Mekhi Becton. We would have an offensive line that would be superior to everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. We would. I mean, we would. Those two guys, those two bookends. We definitely have. You know, if Sewell turns out to be, you know, that generational tackle that other people, you know, analysts around the league believe that he's going to be, we would definitely have a formidable offensive line. But the question would still be the pressure from the interior, because Greg Van Roten and Alex Lewis have not really shown that they can handle that. So there'll just be issues there. And I think we can shore that up, though, in free agency and kind of fixing that situation there. So that's why I think you would probably have to move on from Van Roten. And you can do that in the draft as well, because there's guys in the draft that you can shore that up with. But this is my final question for you before I have to let you go, because the lines are buzzing right now. I know that there may be some other guys in free agency that you're looking at, that you're saying, hey, there might be, you know, a guy that you want to tag in from free agency as far as wide receiver, guys you want to go after. Are you concerned that Joe Douglas will not be aggressive in this year's free agency, that he'll be very conservative?
I went over this with when you mentioned this on your prior show, and I didn't call it, so I'm going to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody in the wide receiver free agency draft that I'd be concerned with, son.
Okay.
The wide receiver is the most overrated, unless you have Randy Moss or Jerry Rice. It's the what I call the cherry on top. Okay.
Okay.
Like, you have to understand, the New York Giants, when they beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, had Mark Ingram and Stephon Baker as their wide receivers.
No, yeah, look, I hear you. But the offense, I mean, the league right now has changed. This is a very offensively driven league. This is a passing league. This is a league where you need guys that are going to be able to catch the football. Point blank, period. And I understand what you're saying. You may think that wide receivers are overrated, but let me tell you something. If you don't have somebody, hell, look at us. We have an issue there at wide receiver. We have issue. We have a lack of weapons. So
who is the best wide receiver in the Broncos on the Buccaneers this year?
It's Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. Actually, Mike Evans, you could argue, is probably the best, but Chris Godwin is phenomenal. They have two excellent wide receivers out there.
I'm like, good. Where was he drafted?
Mike was high in the first, and Chris Godwin was in the third. In the third, we actually should have drafted Chris Godwin. He was drafted in the third, but he's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
The year before that, who's the best? Tyreek Hill on the Kansas City Chiefs. Where was he drafted?
Yeah, I mean, look, where you guys are drafted, there's a lot of guys that have been drafted high in the first that are great wide receivers, you know, in this league. But I hear your take and I hear what you're saying, but I got to get to the rest of these callers. I just think that, you know, we definitely need to start wide receivers as well.
I enjoy my time with you. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you have a good night, all right?
You too.
Hey, listen, the guys are bringing the takes. They're bringing fire. Listen, we got one more caller we're going to get to, 914. I'm going to come directly to you. Please quickly give me your take because we got very little time left here. 914, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Give me your thoughts about this Jets offensive line and the assessment of it. Are you moving on from Greg Van Roten and Alex Lewis?
Pretty much, yes. And pretty much we need to get guard help. We don't right now need tackle help. Makes more sense for the Jets to draft a project right tackle in the mid-rounds and develop him because Fant is fine right now. Fant, I think we can roll with Fant. I'm targeting in my ranking. My two big guys are Sheriff Thuney and Sheriff in that exact order.
Okay. So my final question for you before I let you go, and again, I want to thank you for calling in, is what is your cap for Thuney? How much are you willing to pay? How much are you willing to, go to before you move on and say, hey, this is just too much?
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the market is, but
let's say 18. If he asked you for 18 million, would you do it?
I'd consider it.
Okay. Yeah, look, I respect you, man. I respect that take. I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. I hope to hear from you next show.
All right.
Listen, we had a fire show tonight. Look, I want to thank everybody for calling in. Salute to all the savages in the chat. Every single one of y'all, man. Absolutely loved going back and forth with people. I want to thank everyone for calling in. This was a fire show. Listen, I'm about to close this out. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ000. That's 3 zeros. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I am the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Darnold jersey on, okay? I'm hoping he's here next season as a starting quarterback. That's what I'm hoping. But I'm going to have that jersey on until I hear otherwise, all right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm also on YouTube as well at Long Beach Joe Jets, okay, on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Turn on your notifications when I post content. You folks can be in the know. Give me your thumbs up. Again, everyone, please thumbs up the streams as well. And if you want to troll me on there as well, hey, hit me up. Troll me. I'll go right back and forth in your comments. I'll troll you right back, no issues. And when you folks see me in person, all right, when you see me, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. The hugs will remain free, folks, for all times, all right? I want to thank everyone for watching. You folks are the absolute best. I'm telling you, without you folks, I'm absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to me and call in and go back and forth with me about football. I love my Jets fan. Love going back and forth with everybody. So you folks have a good one, all right? Peace. Whew. That was a hot show. Hold on a second, folks. 1 second. Man, that was a hot one. Let me check and see. Okay, listen, folks, I want to thank everybody for calling in. All right, salute to all the savages, every single one of y'all. All right, listen, exclamation point links in the chat. Okay, there's a link to all of my content, my YouTube, my Twitter, my Facebook pages on there, my iTunes, all that stuff, Blog Talk Radio. Please go there, check out all that stuff. Subscribe to my YouTube pages. Thumbs up the stream as well if you can. You know what I'm saying? Again, I want to thank everybody that was in the chat. Salute to all the savages, man. CKJ, salute to you. Robbie Oaks, salute to you. Mr. Tuda, you know what I'm saying? All my guys, Venom G's, Val, salute. Jack White, salute to you as well. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just going back and forth, man. I love talking football with y'all. Love talking Jets with y'all. Love just hearing everybody's take. Macau Edwards, just everybody in the chat, man, that came through tonight. And, just talk Jets with us, man. NY Sports MC, salute to you, my guy. Good to see you in here as well, man. Again, I want to thank everybody. Jason Green, all my guys in the chat, man, that just went back and forth. Val, everybody, man. Every single one of y'all. So, listen, I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to be doing a show next week as well. Going to keep things going. I got other content coming for you folks as well. So, I want you folks to have a good one. Please be safe out here, people. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you at, man, just know that I'm thinking of you. You know what I'm saying? I want the best for every single person. So please be safe out here. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Enjoy your times with your families. Have a good time.